Hi guys, I'm introducing a new house to you today. I haven't done one of these videos for a while, and I wanted to do it with this house as I discovered them in 2022 at JUILLET in Paris. And I've come to circle back to their fragrances and enjoy several of them. In fact, if you bought the latest mystery box, there is a sample of this fragrance here, Paradis NUIT, in the kit. But this is a collection of 8 fragrances so far, and they are sold at Credo Beauty. I have a link in the info box. But I'm going to go through the entire collection of fragrances and let you know my thoughts on them. They're 95% natural fragrances, so they have some synthetics in them, but the majority of the formula is all natural. And you're going to want to find out about this collection of fragrances coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian. We're talking about Bastille. Bastille, Paris. I guess that's pretty close to how it's pronounced in French. I guess if you look at the name Bastille, that maybe in English you would say that, but in French it's Bastille. And again, I discovered this line at JUILLET in Paris, and really was curious about several of the fragrances. And when I got the opportunity to feature one of their fragrances in the kit, not the latest, which is 14 Juillet, that is actually the date of Bastille Day in France, but we featured Paradis NUIT because I really fell in love with this one. The 14 Juillet is a bit more challenging because it has a firecracker note, so it's not really it's not really a conventional. You can wear it. It's smoky and kind of gunpowdery, but it's a bit different. So I wanted to feature something that I really enjoyed, and I'll tell you all about Paradis NUIT. It's the fragrance that came before 14 Juillet. But if you got your kit already, let me know your thoughts on Paradis NUIT. It is in the mystery box currently, and as I said, I have links to these fragrances over at Credo Beauty in the info box. Let's show you a little bit about the presentation as well. This is the latest fragrance. It comes in boxes like this, and each one has a different color. So this is 14 Juillet. This one is Bataille, basically means battle. This one is DEMAIN PROMIS. I'm probably butchering the French pronunciation of these. This one's really difficult, HORS-PISTE. This one, of course, Paradis NUIT. That one's pretty easy for me. That's the one featured in the mystery box. PLEINE LUNE, this one right here. We've got 2 more. RAYON VERT, and 1, 2, 3 SOLEIL. So 8 fragrances. Let's start with 14 Juillet. This is it right here. The brand is named Bastille. There's Bastille Day on the 14th of July. That's what this is named after. So this is created by up-and-coming perfumer Meabh McCurtin, and it has a fireworks accord, violet leaves, vanilla, labdanum, cinnamon, benzoin, tonka beans, tangerine, blackcurrant. So slight fruity, citrusy touches, but it's quite ozonic and also ambery, warm, spicy. But you'll really notice the fireworks accord or firecracker type of a smell in here. It smells smoked, gunpowdery, and sparkly with the fire sparks, kind of like, just imagine lighting up a firecracker. That smell, that's captured perfectly in this. So I think what they've done is great. I'm not sure what the rest of the fragrance does to do with the whole, Bastille Day, 14th of July, but I feel like they've captured the right kind of experience. It's in the summertime, there's warmth there, so it's the vanilla, labdanum, cinnamon thing. Of course, there's also benzoin, there's tonka here. So a lot of warm notes and a kind of ambery base, but ozonic and fresh up top with that, firecracker type smell that starts things off. That is a pretty dominant note up top, so you'll really notice it. If you don't like notes like that, you might not dig this one. But if you like a little more adventurous, kind of unusual smells, you will probably dig this one. For sure, it's got a lot of ambery touches. I'm smelling it. Definitely lots of amber, vanillic, resins. That's what it has. But there is that ozonic violet leaves note, which is watery, a bit cucumber-like. And don't forget the firecracker or fireworks accord. That's really, really prominent. It's not one of my favorites from the house, but I like the idea. The inspiration is totally cool, And I think if you like unusual fragrances, but still wearable, you know, you should definitely check that one out. But let's move on to the next one, Bataille. I think that's how you say it, Bataille. This is basically translates to battle. This is created by Nicolas Beaulieu, and it's ginger, pink pepper, saffron, Virginia cedar, tonka beans, patchouli, sage, amber extreme, and magnolia. Honestly, this is my favorite fragrance of the collection. I really enjoy 4 of them. This is my favorite, and really like what Nicolas Beaulieu created. For me, it's the idea of amber and patchouli together. I love these notes together, and they really created a really great fragrance. Keep in mind, these are all 95% all natural. That's what they claim to be. And they've got all kinds of information on the back. You can read about all of this. And you can see right here, it does say 95% made with natural, 95% natural ingredients. So the reason I like this one is it's just really my kind of fragrance. I enjoy the warm ambery notes a lot. Vanillic, resinous, balsamic. And of course I love patchouli, so it's a given this is definitely one of my favorites. But it does have some fresh spicy notes, ginger, pink pepper, and a bit of warmth and metallic, you know, leathery touches from saffron, but lots of woods, and of course amber, resins, and patchouli that I really, really love. Yum. This is so good. If you're into ambers, you're, you know, conventional ambers, maybe like Maître Parfumé Gantier, Ambre Presso, just ambers like that, Ambre Sultan from Serge Lutens, you're going to probably like this one. Just keep in mind it has a lot of, for me, it has a lot of patchouli. It's very earthy, and it has that kind of earthy experience that patchouli is known for. Slight chocolatey, but also fresh. There's the freshness of the zing of ginger and pink pepper in there. So that is my favorite. Right off the bat, I'm telling you, that's Bataille, basically means battle. Alright, the next one, the third fragrance, we're doing this in alphabetical order, is DEMAIN PROMIS. DEMAIN PROMIS. I'm doing my best with French. This is Tomorrow Promise. That's what it translates to. And it's created by Caroline Dumur. So this is a milky lactonic fragrance with an overdose of aromatic lavender. So there's a lot of lavender here. There's cardamom, so it's got that fresh spice. Milk, sage, cinnamon, sandalwood, vetiver, tonka, patchouli, heart, and rose. Honestly, the rose is not very prominent. You might see its head pop out a little bit, but I think the rose is very faint here. But it's a lot of lavender, a lot of cardamom, and milk. So these notes are dominating. You get that milky effect, milky, lactonic, creamy. It's nicely blended with the lavender and the cardamom. I mean, cardamom is typically found in chai, so you've got that experience, that milky chai experience with cardamom and other spices. So it kind of sort of acts like that, but there's no tea here, obviously. There are some warmer notes as well, like cinnamon. There's even more creamy effect happening from sandalwood. There's lots of woods here. And also the sage, aromatic sage. But again, for me, this one is all about the lavender, cardamom, and milk. And of course, I think there's warmth from the cinnamon, but the sandalwood, I think, is giving a lot of milky effect to the milk note that's in here. So it's intensifying the creamy, milky effect that the milk provides in this. This is definitely nice. It's not my all-time favorite from the house, but I don't hate this one. Definitely you pick up that lavender, and to me the lavender in this smells like the south of France. I've traveled in the south of France quite a bit, gone to a lot of markets, smelled the fresh lavender or dry lavender there. So it has that kind of an effect against the cardamom and the milk for sure. The cardamom typically also gives me a bit of a soapy effect. It's got that kind of interesting medicinal soapy kind of a smell. I'm not saying it smells like soap, because we have a fragrance that's coming up that has the soap accord. This is more of a soapy effect rather than smelling like soap. And for me, it's interesting because there's a lot of lavender soaps in the south of France, so it kind of gives you that kind of a creamy, milky lavender soapiness kind of an experience here. It's definitely slight gourmandish for sure, but definitely nice to wear, very cozy. This is the kind of fragrance you would wear if you want something relaxing, soothing, because lavender, milk, very cozy, comforting notes in fragrances. Alright, the next one is called HORS-PISTE. I think that's how you say it, and I couldn't find the translation on this one. I don't know what the word piste means. Anyway, we'll move on. But this is created by Michalon-Bertier, featuring notes of mandarin, sweet orange, ginger, juniper, cedar, mate, pink pepper, ambroxan, and charismal, which is jasmine. So this one, to me, the mandarin orange note is very authentic smelling. You're not only smelling the mandarin very authentically, the juiciness of it, but you're also getting the skin. Like I peel mandarin and dig into the fruit itself, and you get that smell of the skin on fingers. You can smell that smell, the kind of oily kind of experience you get or effect you get on your skin after you've peeled the mandarin. So you've got that in here. So the mandarin and the sweet orange creates a sweet tart experience. There's some zing from the ginger in here, so it's a bit spicy. But for me, it's all about the mandarin orange and the orange. It's just a very bright, juicy citrus with some zing and bitterness thrown in there. Of course, you've got woods under there, but you've got a little bit of a grassy effect from the mate note here. Mate is a type of a tea. It's green, but for me it creates a kind of a grassy tea experience. I find tea to have a bit of a grassy effect, especially mate, and here it's pretty prominent. Yeah, it's very, very authentic, the mandarin orange. I love mandarin oranges. I could eat those non-stop. They're really delicious. And the fact that you can experience the skin in this, it's got a very authentic smell. But really gorgeous fragrance. I think this is perfect for hot days if you want that kind of juicy, sweet tart experience from the mandarin orange. So that is HORS-PISTE. I think that's how you say it. So let's move on to the fifth fragrance. So as mentioned earlier, Paradis Nuit, the next fragrance, is featured in the mystery box. Let me know if you've gotten your mystery box and what you thought about this fragrance. I really like this one. It's unusually soapy, but there's also a bit of a rubbery smell to it that really is kind of addicting. So this Paradis Nuit is also created by Nicolas Beaulieu. He created my favorite fragrance from the collection. It's Bataille. That is battle. But Paradis Nuit is the second to the last fragrance that was launched from this house. It's featuring note of soap accord, sandalwood, cedar, cassie flower, petitgrain, neroli, cacao pod, hay, and patchouli. But for me, I get that very much like a cleaned up soapy rubber patchouli cacao kind of a combo that's super delicious to wear. It's very clean, and of course there's got a lot of soap in here, and it comes off creamy as well, like the soapiness of that one fragrance I was talking about that had the sandalwood and those other notes in there that created a bit of a milky soap effect. Here it's definitely clean and soapy, and you definitely notice the soap accord in this and the creaminess of the sandalwood. It's a really great fragrance, but I do get that kind of strange rubber thing, which I quite like. It's quite addicting. I like that about this one. But you definitely noticed the soap accord in here. Again, once again, going back to the south of France, I've been to Marseille many times, gone to the soap factories and toured, and it's authentically smelling like soap, very much so. But you got a lot of other things happening, and they've thrown in things that actually smell soapy. The petitgrain, the neroli, these notes kind of create a soapy effect in fragrances, so they've got a lot of that happening. But it's woody, it's spicy, it's warm, powdery, and for sure soapy. So that is Paradis Nuit. Let me know if you've sampled your mystery box kit and check that one out. And in case I didn't mention what Paradis Nuit translates to, I think it translates to night heaven or dark heaven. But moving on to PLEINE LUNE, this one right here, this one translates to full moon. This is created by Anne Flippo and Paul Guerlain. It's a collaborative fragrance, and it features matcha, mate, tuberose, jasmine, neroli, orange blossom, bergamot, pink pepper, sandalwood, benzoin, tonka beans, cedar. A lot of stuff going on in here, and 2 IFF perfumers. I enjoy Anne Flippo's creations. She does some great work with white flowers, and this is white floral notes. But it also has tea notes like matcha and mate. Both together, both on the grassy green side. So you've got this combination of tea notes and white floral notes. It's a nice balance. I think it works. It's once again very fresh and very bright, and of course I think this is also a great fragrance to leave for the warm days, and it has powdery touches for sure. So the greenness of the matcha and mate are pretty prominent. I feel like those are what's dominating here, but I feel like they're almost very nicely balanced with the white floral notes. Along the way there's spices and citrusy juiciness in there as well. Eventually it gets warmer, ambery, woody when it's drying down, but for me it's definitely got the tea effect, the green tea effect, but very on the grassy side, kind of earthy green grassy side that tea notes provide. Definitely nicely done, I think. It's very fresh, and yeah, this one's really nice. It's clean. It's got a very clean effect, but you can pick out the tea for sure. I don't drink matcha or mate tea, but I used to drink a lot of green tea, And when I'm smelling that, it has a green tea effect, or green tea and fragrances, but it's overdosed with a lot of white flowers and of course the woods and ambery touches in the dry down. Alright, we've got 2 more fragrances left. The next fragrance is Rayon Vert, so Green Ray. This is created by Caroline Dumur. This is aniseed, fennel, basil, angelica, blackcurrant bud, neroli, chamomile, caraway, immortelle, cedar, sandalwood. So this one, I really like the idea of aniseed. I grew up drinking it as a kid. It was good for the tummy when you had tummy aches when you were a little baby. My mom gave it to me a lot. So I really enjoy this note in fragrances, and the fact that it has fennel, and they do work wonderfully together, because fennel, anise, licorice, they all have kind of similar types of smells, not identical, but they kind of blend nicely together. It's very aromatic though, also floral, and very unusual autumn-like smell in here. Very soft, spicy, herbal, and some woods in there as well. It kind of comes off a bit green because for me aniseed and fennel has a greenness for sure. But the fact that it has basil, angelica, blackcurrant bud, neroli, there's also chamomile, a bit kind of dried, grassy. Lots of good stuff happening in here. I enjoy this one. This is one of my favorites from the house. And it's a nice name, Rayon Vert, meaning green ray. You definitely have a green ray with this one. So aniseed is not a typical, very popular note in fragrances. I think it comes in waves. It gets popular and then loses its popularity. It's not like you see it all the time. I like it in fragrances, and I think it does some great work in fragrances. This, to me, has some similarities, I would say, not identical to other fragrances that featured aniseed or fennel together. And I really love the way it smells. It's one of my favorite notes because it does have that kind of green, almost green boozy spiciness. And it's a bit unusual, but really delicious in fragrances, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I think this one is really nice. I think it would be more of an autumn appropriate fragrance, maybe also spring, because it's not uber fresh, but it has some substance, but it's also not like beast mode for something that's perfect for winter. But I like that whole green ray idea. Really wonderful. If I would say this is the greenest fragrance, no, it's not. But I like that it has greenness in it. So if you're not into green fragrances, still give this one a chance. Because that has the greenness, but I think it's more about the aniseed, which has that kind of boozy, kind of spicy, licoricey kind of an experience slightly with, you know, the greenness that's in there. Rayon Vert. Really lovely. I think that might be my 3rd favorite or 2nd favorite. And then last but not least, we've got Un, Deux, Trois, Soleil. This one right here. So this is a really delicious one created by Michalon-Bertier. It's bitter almonds, vanilla, tonka beans, benzoin, heliotrope, incense, pink pepper, bergamot, grapefruit. So the name gives me the idea of mimosa flower, but when I thought, before I checked notes, I thought I was wearing mimosa flower with almonds, because mimosa flower has a slight almondy effect. But after I looked up the notes, there's no mimosa listed. But for me, I get mimosa, or even heliotrope, kind of like that. Well, there is heliotrope in here, but I thought there would be mimosa, but there's no mimosa. But it's a great gourmand, nutty, almondy, and super delicious to wear. And you've got tonka in there as well. There's a bit of a doughy effect happening. It's almost like if you've needed dough to make like some kind of bread or kind of sweet breads and things like that. You really have a smell like that in here. So it's very cozy. It's got that doughiness, but very bitter almondy and vanillic. Slight bit butterscotch, but I'm not saying it's 100%. I think there's a slight kind of sugary caramelly thing happening way under there, but it's more like dough and mixing of the ingredients in dough and that yeastiness that in the dough that creates this kind of an effect. Really super delicious. Really love that one. So that is Un, Deux, Trois, Soleil. Soleil means it's 1, 2, 3 sun. So that's why I thought Soleil usually refers to like bright yellow mimosa, but maybe that's just subconscious for me. So those are the 8 fragrances from the house. Let me know if you got the mystery box, which features Paradis NUIT, the soapy fragrance with cacao and patchouli. To me, it has a rubbery effect. Let me know if you get that. But again, my favorite is Bataille, Battle. I would say number 2 is Un, Deux, Trois, Soleil. I would say number 3 is Rayon Vert. So which one's going to be my number 4? Paradis Nuit, the second to the last latest. And then I like the other ones. It's not my all-time favorites, but those definitely are winners for me. I hope you guys get to try these fragrances. They're selling currently at Credo, and I have it linked in the info box. If you have any questions or comments on this collection from Bastille, let me know. Put a comment down below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.